Welcome back to the Elevate with Us podcast. My name is Tanya Cosmini. I am the broker owner here at Realty One Group Elevate. And I don't know about you, but I could always use more organizing and design in my life because, I don't know, I kind of put organizing off to the side, or what really happens is I make poor choices when it comes to how to organize. So I am so excited to welcome our guest today. She is the founder and owner of Order & Co. Meghan, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I super enjoy following you on social media. You provide great tidbits of information and some really, really beautiful designs.
Thank you. We take a lot of pride in those big projects. So thank you.
It is gorgeous. It really is. So Meghan, tell us about your company and kind of how it started.
Sure. So Order & Co. is a organizational and design company. And each one of those kind of branches out. For our organization services, we do luxury organizing in people's homes or businesses. And then we also do moves. So that kind of falls under organization because we can unpack people, we pack people. And we can talk about that in a little bit.
That's so amazing. I feel like there aren't a lot of other companies that offer that. And probably people don't even know that it's available.
Correct.
That you could have someone help you pack.
We just did a family who went away for 5 days and they left with the movers, dropped all their boxes in the middle of the room. And then we came while they were gone and unpacked every box, hung every picture, made systems in every room for them.
Wow.
Got rid of all the boxes and they just walked into home. So, I mean, if you can afford it, it is worth it. Because that is not inexpensive. I will be very transparent about that.
No, that's okay. I mean, for someone that's moved a lot.
Yeah. It's a big headache. And it's stressful.
The worst part,
it's very stressful.
The worst part is
and that. Then, what happens a lot, too, is that you I got to get ready. I got to be able to make a sandwich and breakfast in the morning that you unpack quickly at midnight, and things are not in the right place. There's no systems, and then you end up living like that for 5 years because who has the time to go back and rearrange all their pots and pans and glasses and plates, and then you call us, and then we have to start from, from a big mess versus just starting your first day in your new home kind of ready to go.
No, that must be it's so much fun, right, for you guys, because you're always creating something. And
well, we're creative, but the satisfaction we have, whole time we're like, this is going to change this family's life, but we have such satisfaction knowing that we're helping people. And I know that sounds so cliche. We get so much satisfaction by that. And
it just fills your bucket.
It really does. Knowing pantry is such a small space in your home. How many times a day are you in your own pantry? And to walk in and it be beautiful and easy to find, and then Saturday comes, you have to go grocery shopping, you can see exactly what you need because you know exactly where your sauces are and your pasta is. It's really changing a part of this person's daily life, and that it makes us so happy. The whole team's involved. They're all very invested in it.
So how many team members do you have?
Right now we have 5 organizers, a VA, and then an ops manager. And then myself.
So there's 6. Wait,
that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's really amazing.
And we're growing. And it's great. Some of the girls have strengths. Oh, I didn't even get to so we have the organization part that has the moving and the luxury organizing, and then we have our design part that we do functional interior design.
Okay,
and
I don't know what that means.
We used to call it refreshes, and then we're like, that's a lame name. Let's not do that.
Okay.
And we were so afraid to say we did interior design because just even where we are, there's so many talented interior designers, and we work with them and we partner with them, and we never wanted to feel like we were stepping on toes. We didn't go to school for interior design, but we would go into someone's home and it's their playroom, and we're going to organize their playroom. We're going to make it functional. But they're like, but it's kind of ugly. Can you make it cuter? We're like,
okay,
sure.
So it's pretty design, organization, functionality. I love that word. That makes a lot of sense. It is functional design.
Right? So it's functional design. So we're going to kind of recreate this space.
Okay.
But we're going to up at a level while we're organizing and what makes sense.
So functional and pretty.
Functional. Who doesn't want that?
Literally perfect. Yeah.
Who does not want that? So there's that. And then our last part, which is the most exciting part for our realtor friends, is staging.
Yes.
So we do staging. And that has been, again, just almost like everything in the company so far, it's been a growth. And we started with just soft goods. Now we do all furniture, and it's really grown. And the realtors who we've partnered with always come back, which I think is very telling. And it's been that, again, to us, it's like, we're going to help sell this house for these people. Like, we are so invested in our clients, and it's been such a fun ride to see it all progress.
That's so amazing. So how long has Order & Co. been running up your business?
We just hit our 3-year mark.
Congratulations.
So thank you. We are a COVID baby. And I'll back up a little bit because all this design talk kind of comes from my background of I did special events, which doesn't seem like the perfect jump, but
I don't know. What is special events?
So I grew up in upstate New York, graduated from college in New York, and then I moved down to Washington, D.C., and I knew I wanted to do special events. My mom was like, that's not even a job. I'm like, oh, it sure is. Just not in Syracuse, Mom. Like, and I was going to Michigan State to get my master's in HR, and I deferred. I'm like, no, it's my calling. Like, I've always been the organizer in my life, like across teams, friends. And I just took a leap of faith, and I started, and I loved it. But what I ended up really falling in love with was catering.
Okay.
For a really large company. And it was off-premise catering. So we were not in hotels or country clubs. We were in the Smithsonian's. We were in the State Department.
Wow.
We were in all these gorgeous buildings you would normally never be able to get into as someone who either is, visiting DC or even living in DC. And we bring everything in. And I started really young, and I did it for 18 years. And I left with this huge book of business, and it was amazing. And I mean, I did things for the President of the United States, and I did 5,000. I did. That should be a totally separate podcast of my fun stories with that.
Oh my! But listen, you just invited yourself back, and it sounds really fun.
And that created this amazing opportunity with the State Department, which, by the way, this will probably air after, but they've invited me for the 2nd year in a row to bring Order & Co. to DC to decorate for the Secretary's holiday party. So we're doing that in 2 weeks, which has been really amazing. But I did these huge events for 18 years, and I thought I would literally do it to the day I died. I love it.
So was it your own company, or did you work for somebody?
I worked for a really big company.
Okay.
Nope, I worked for a really big company, and I was just one of their salespeople.
Okay.
But I just had this incredible list of clients that I worked with year after year, and everything just kept growing. I mean, it's in DC where I lived, and then one day my husband and I looked at each other, and we're like, we got to get out of here. We had 3 kids. Our youngest was 6 months old, and between how expensive it was to live there, the traffic, it was too much for us. We weren't both from there. We didn't have family there. I literally Googled best places to raise a family near water, found St. Johns County, found 𝗥𝗢𝗄, and we moved our family here. And I went to go quit my job, and got a new job, and they're like, well, why don't you just do it from Florida? And at that point, this is pre-COVID, so there was no remote working. I was like, okay. So I gave a bunch of clients away. I kept about half my clients. I was going to have this work-life balance I always dreamed of. And
you're
then
going to live near the beach and in a
right?
neighborhood
Yes,
with tons of amenities.
We drive our kids to school in a golf cart, right? It's this whole thing. And then, it's funny what happens when you're happy. You're more productive. So I ended up doubling my budget from Florida, and my business
for this business you had, you
for
cut it in
catering.
half, and then you
gave
doubled
away,
it,
and then I doubled it.
Incredible.
So 2 things with that. 1, because I was really happy. I think you are more productive. But 2, I got rid of some of my smaller clients, so I could really focus on my bigger clients. And look what happens when you have that time.
Sure.
So that was incredible. I mean, I sold the most anyone had sold in the company at that point. Going into 2020, it was going to be the biggest year of the world. Oh, in March 13th, I fly up there for a big marketing event, and I never went back. I could cry thinking about it. It was my whole life. I'd been there 18 years. I still talk to so many people there, but it was a bit, I just remember thinking, I was like, as long as I'm back by May, my biggest event's in June. I mean, nobody knew what was coming. And so we got furloughed, I guess, about a few weeks later. And I had met, this is a funny story, I had met a life coach on one of my plane rides back and forth.
Okay.
And he was really trying to make me an entrepreneur. I'm like, listen.
Interesting.
I was
he saw something in you.
And
he
I was
knew you had it in you.
I was like, absolutely not. No way. I was like, you're going to have to move past this. We only have an hour on this flight. And I was like, I love what I do. I love my little safe bubble. It is a safe bubble working for someone, right? I just have
9 to 5,
clients.
yeah, a W-2 job.
I mean,
super safe.
It was for sure not a
Super
9 to 5,
safe.
but it was still safe.
Wait, hold on.
9 to 5. But I just never saw myself doing anything different, even being in Florida and, the company in DC. And so this all happens. And I remember calling him, remember that conversation? I was like, what do I do with my life? And he was like, I know how much you love events. I get it. He goes, but you definitely will love something else. I'm like, well, what is that? He goes, I want you to do me a favor. Go ask 10 of your closest friends. If you were to write a book, what would it have to be about for them to buy it? And then ask them, what are the 2 biggest things that they would want to ask you advice for that's not event related?
Okay.
Like, okay.
Wow, that's
again,
so
this is
insightful.
pandemic time. I'm like, I have all the time in the world. Let me go ask all my friends these questions. That's when like Marco Polo was out.
Yeah.
And my friends are like, can you just, I don't
You're
need
doing
to,
the
I don't
video.
need
That
to
was
see
the
you.
videos,
Yes.
right? You were doing the
They're
videos.
like,
You were like chatting.
I'm like, no,
I
I have
about
to see
it.
you. I'm not there. We all have to talk. We all have to see each other. And but I asked, and it was funny. Interior design and organization were the things that came back.
Wow.
So so that's what came back. And then when we started Order & Co, I was with actually 2 other women when we first started.
Okay.
And slowly through the process, we all just started seeing different futures of what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still incredibly close to Nikki. We are just a very recent split.
Okay.
But again, I think it was just, what's great is we're adult women and we sat down, we're like, where do you see it? And where do you see it? And then we both took the pieces that we wanted to grow. And it was a very easy transition. We talk every day. We're very supportive.
That's so amazing.
But that is how Order & Co grew the summer of 2020, literally at the pool with our kids, you know what I mean? Like on our laptops, like figuring it all out. And then we launched in September of 2020. And at that point, we were just luxury organizing.
Okay.
We started doing those refreshes of functional interior design pretty quickly. It was like an obvious
It seems like very seamless, like a very symbiotic thing, because when you're organizing, you want it to be pretty. And if you only organize, you're kind of stuck to closets, I feel. Some type of closet, like a pantry, a master closet, a playroom closet. But this kind of brings it together because I remember when my children were little and there's all those little toys, like little pieces.
Lots of little toys.
And I love to organize, oddly. And so
it's very calming. Like it seems very overwhelming at first, but then when you're like, I'm a mindset person, right? Like, okay, this is going to be a little bit messy for the next few hours, but it's going to be worth it at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I think being able to have somebody do it for you, because not everybody has the vision or the patience, right?
Absolutely.
Or they get overwhelmed by the mess. And
especially if it's in every room.
Yeah,
right?
They completely are panicked.
Because then you don't know where to start.
They're just throwing it all in the garbage.
Right.
Or just leaving it all be.
Most people don't throw it out in the garbage. It's a problem. I mean, our 2 biggest demographics are, because there's a lot of women who can and love to organize, but they are working and don't have the time.
Okay.
Right. So it's driving them crazy because they want to be in an organized life, but they don't have the time to do it. And then there's women that just don't have the knack for it. Some people just don't get it, right? Like their brains, and that's okay. I'm a very bad DIYer. I do not have the knack for it. That wire is missing for me. So I'll just hire everyone.
Me too. Same. So I'm guessing another probably big one is offices. Do you do a lot of home offices or no?
No. I mean, I would say for sure that's a subsection. We've actually done some corporate offices, which is so fun. And we actually do love that. But especially because since COVID, a lot of people do work from home. We have done many more offices. We just did one 2 days ago.
Okay, I was just imagining because he will work from home.
Yeah.
Or they did transition to 2 people working from home.
Exactly.
How do they make that work when they only have one office? Like what's the
the
opportunity?
one office, or that's the only room. Like we literally just did one a few months ago that's an office and the playroom.
Yeah, I'm sure that's so common.
And how not relaxing is it if you are working and there is toys everywhere, right? So, and we understand that. I mean, yes, I try and live an organized life, but of course there's times that my bedroom's a mess. And you know what? I am not as productive or as happy of a person. So I appreciate the day gets away from you, the weeks get away from you.
Right.
But once you just stop and clean slate it, I am a much happier person.
No, I totally agree with you. Like I'm a firm believer in making your bed every day.
Yes.
Because I think that, I don't know, there's that Navy admiral, he did that speech and he talks about.
I don't know.
Oh gosh, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's super great. It's old. And he talks about how if you're trying to accomplish things in your day, start your day with a win.
Right.
and
It's an
starting
easy
your day
win.
with accomplishing that, making your bed.
Yes.
You're setting yourself up for success because you've checked it off the list.
Yeah.
You did it correctly because
Right.
it's yours.
Right.
And it just sets the tone for the day. And I have found on the rare occasion that I am too rushed or there's a dog or kid emergency or
Right,
whatever
right.
happens and I got interrupted making my bed.
Yeah.
When my day is messed up. Like I
Right.
really don't like it.
I'm like that about my car. If my car is messy
Oh, I wish I had that problem.
and I have like
Ugh.
cups everywhere, or like if I walk in and it's nice and clean, I'm like, I'm gonna have the best day ever.
Yeah, no, for
Ever.
sure. Oh, I wish I had that problem. My car is not okay at most times. Yeah, sorry.
That you don't have to be sorry.
I want it
Everyone
to be.
has their thing.
I want it
I don't
to
make
be.
my bed every day, but
No.
when I do have a better day.
I just
But the
love
best
it.
part for me is getting like when it's time to go to bed.
No,
and
that's
I'm getting into
Oh,
my
no, for
made
sure.
bed. I'm like, oh my,
I just love it. It's
like
you
a
know,
queen in this luxury bed
That's how
right
I
now.
feel about
instead
it
of like all the
too.
wrinkled sheets.
I absolutely love it. So, out of your 3 services, which one keeps you the most busy? Like, what do you do the most of? Do you do more organizing, which I'm going to assume, but I don't want to make assumptions.
We really don't. It has
Oh.
been a solid mix, which
Oh,
is
that's so cool.
definitely
So
to
amazing.
small business owners, like diversify your income, right?
Yes.
Because we're going into December. Not a lot of people need staging in December. People are not listing this month, right?
Right.
So that's fine. But you know what? People want their house organized before all their guests come in December. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So at
Okay.
the holidays. So it has been a really solid mix. And, our functional interior design, I would say, kind of started a little slower. It's probably one of our busiest things we're doing right now.
Oh, that's so neat.
So, but again, thank God that there's all of them.
Right.
So, but it's just it's just depending on the time of the year,
Got it.
and how they are. But I think that has been very good for just the health of Order & Co. Being able to have all of
super
those.
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about staging.
Okay.
So let's just say there's a realtor who, goes on a listing appointment and they realize that maybe the property is a little cluttered, maybe a little
Sure.
dated in the decor.
Yeah.
And they realize they need a stager.
Right.
So what's the next step for you guys? What
Sure.
should they do other than obviously call her?
Call me.
Call her.
Call Megan.
But how would they find your phone number?
Sure. Well, our website
Okay.
is just orderandcompany.com.
Orderandcompany.com.
Yep,
Spelled
and then-
out and?
And yep,
Okay.
everything's spelled out. And we are actually launching, our website is up right now, but we are launching a brand new website with a little bit
Yay.
of a redesign on Monday. So everyone will see that,
That's awesome.
which has been very exciting. And the new website talks a lot more about our staging services than the
Perfect.
current one. So I think that will be helpful for people. But yeah, call us, DM me. I mean, we're on Instagram or at Order & Co. But just reach out. I know a lot of the times that the realtors are kind of like quick, like how quickly can you get out? So we are very flexible with our realtor friends and making sure that happens. But what we do is we go out to their client's home. We'll walk the space. What's kind of nice for realtors is we can kind of be the bad guy. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Oh, no.
So that
I'm a
you don't-
firm believer in
So
staging.
that you don't have
so-
to be the bad guy. And so, I mean, we try and be as friendly as possible about it. But if there is an ugly painting, we're going to say really nicely that's going to have to come down. And we'll replace it with something a little bit more neutral, right? So what we do the walkthrough, we walk the space, we take a lot of notes, take a lot of pictures, and then we do a report for the client and the realtor. And the report has all the things in general that we think would help sell the house quicker and for, the best price. And they're color coordinated. And half the list is mostly
Wow.
things that what we think and again, we kind of know going in, how quick is a turnaround? Like, do they have time to declutter themselves? We've gone in for a lot of homes and we just do the decluttering for them.
Sure.
And then we come back a day later and then we'll do the staging. But we do break it down based on timing, what we think the client could do themselves, and then where we think we could lend a hand. And, if that's us bringing new furniture, a lot of wall decor, anything, new stools, things
Sure.
like that. And then they can decide if they'd like to move forward with parts and add on.
Yeah, so we do something similar. I
Yep.
always partner with a stager to list property. And what I always tell the customer is like, hey, listen, it's going to be a little hard.
Right.
Let's just call it out.
Right.
However, you're moving.
Right.
So you have to pack anyway. It's like a pre-pack.
Right.
That's all it is.
It really is helping you.
but
You're
they
like
freak out.
I know.
They freak out and they're like, where am I going to put the boxes? I'm like, well, everybody knows you're moving. Just make them neat.
Right.
Don't leave them in the middle of a room.
Right.
Try to put them in a closet, put them in the garage. Push comes to shove. There's these things called storage units.
Right. I mean, we highly encourage a storage unit, and we can even bring them to your storage unit if you would like.
It's so amazing. It's
I mean, we
such a
try
great
and be
service.
very one-stop shop for people because, we don't want the person coming to see your home and then they open the garage door and see a million boxes.
Sure.
You don't want it to feel like you outgrew this home because then they could outgrow this home, right?
Oh, no,
so
absolutely right.
Let's just hide it. Now, listen, I wouldn't say I'm a minimalist, but I'm definitely not hoarder-ish, and I'm a very organized person. But when I sold my house, I had 20 boxes I still packed up and moved out of my house to sell the house, right? Like, even for someone who would look like a very pretty home, there was still so much I could get rid of because it's that much less that you actually need. And I think that's hard for people sometimes to realize how much clutter you want to get out.
No, for sure, because they get upset. It's their stuff. And the word I always use when there's something that maybe other people won't like is that it's taste specific. Taste specific. And so this way you're just letting them know that's their taste, which might not be everyone else's taste. Which is hard for people because, everyone has to imagine their stuff there.
Right.
Therefore, you have to remove a whole bunch of your stuff so they can see their stuff
Absolutely.
there. And what's funny is I think that most people have a hard time with like empty shelves or empty space. But that, I think, is it called negative space? Is
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
It's okay. And what I tell them to do is I'm like, hey, go walk a model home and look at how empty everything is. But
it feels good when you walk in that.
Yes, but you don't feel like it's empty. But pay attention to only one item on every other shelf or a trio on every other shelf or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
And then go back home and look at your bookcases and your shelves and see that you've got a ton. You got lots.
No negative space.
No negative
space.
You have filled up every wall and every spot and all the things. And what I think is really neat, is people use the Google and the Google will tell them how to declutter and whatnot, and that we have to depersonalize.
Right.
But I have found that family pictures have become so artistic.
Yes.
You don't necessarily always have to take them down.
We're not a hardcore get rid of every picture.
Yeah, I don't.
Because some of them look beautiful on the wall.
They look like art.
And a nice little, cute frame picture on top of a pretty stacked books.
That's so nice.
That's so nice.
So nice.
Now, I will say the mixed tiles, you got to get rid of the mixed tiles.
What are mixed tiles?
Like when you can buy like 58 pictures of your family and they're the squares and they all line
they're like
up.
Little guys?
I mean, I think they have them in all sizes, but they were definitely in.
Like a gallery wall or something?
It's a big gallery wall.
The gallery wall.
Of all your kids' faces. Like, don't do that, right?
Right.
It's all in moderation.
You're going to have to take some of the faces down.
Yes.
Yeah,
not all the
faces.
Because you have to.
Yes. I haven't thought about this in so long. The 3 Ds of staging: decluttering, depersonalization, and I'm missing one. Declutter.
My bad stager
design,
that I don't know.
I don't even remember. I haven't thought about this in years.
Okay.
So this was like
I'm gonna have to study up on that.
I'm gonna think of it. Hopefully,
I just get rid of all the stuff and I make it look pretty.
Declutter, depersonalization. I want it to be design, but I don't think that's what it is. Because back in the day, when I first got licensed, we used to like go to the MLS and take classes on staging. I don't even know if they do
I'm
that
sure
anymore.
They had acronyms for everything.
Oh, absolutely. They love that in real estate.
Yes.
So let's like break it down to some other words so then you can't remember it, but you're supposed to remember it. That's how that goes. What I think is really neat is that you've really established yourself as a leader in the organization world, which I don't know about you guys. I didn't know there was an organization world, but there is.
There's actually a very big organization world out there.
And so you have, and I don't know how many years you've been doing it for, but you basically host a retreat for professional organizers.
Yeah, we're in the midst of planning our 3rd one. It's our annual one. It's annual. We've held it in Ponte Vedra, St. Simon's, and again, this probably won't air soon because we haven't announced it, but our next one's in Charleston.
Oh my gosh. So you've done it in really amazing places.
Yeah, we're very excited. But for me, what was the best part was I got to marry my old world of events.
I was just going to say that. You got to do them together.
Yes.
Yay.
And you can ask anyone that comes. It's quite the experience. I bring all my bouginess to it and then all my, logistical background and, there's no detail missed. And we have these incredible swag bags and the escort. Like we did one of our dinners last year was at Dorothy's Oyster Bar in St. Simon's. We bought it out. It's gorgeous. It's tiny inside. And then I had all these I'm sure you've seen them, the oyster shells. They
Yeah.
have like the 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃.
Yes, 𝗕𝗂𝗃. I think you said the word right.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
a hard
good.
word.
Yes, it is a hard word. But I had it like match the invitation, and then I have everyone's names, calligraphied on them, and then that was their name tag, like their place card. So it's like all the details. It's so fun, but truly, why we did it was just having community means everything, and owning your own business can be kind of lonely sometimes.
Oh yeah, you're on your own island.
Right.
Absolutely.
You are on an island
Because the other people near us that are doing what you're doing are your competitors.
Right.
So that
Right.
collaboration is hard.
And I've just, we purposely reach out to our local organizers to come as well, because we don't want them to feel like we look at them as competitors. Like, are we? Yes. There are so many people that need organization. I don't look at them that way, right? And we all bring something different to the table. We have all very different styles. So, but it is pretty incredible to bring people from all over the country that do what we do and put them in the same area for 4 days. And, we talk all the non-sexy things that are sexy to us. Like, tell me about your CRM. What's your favorite one? What accounting, system do you love to use? Like, no one wants to talk. Your husband for sure doesn't want to talk about that.
Oh,
and
come
I
on.
just swore.
Come on. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's like, but that's the stuff we get excited about.
Listen,
like,
we
tell
get
me about your mailer. Who does your mailers?
We get excited about those things too, like CRMs. Woo, super
Right?
sexy talk.
So
Absolutely.
that is sexy talk. So, but it's nice to come together and be able to like talk to people about that kind of things.
Yeah.
And
They're your people.
they're your people.
And
And we have motivational speakers. And, it's kind of incredible when you bring all these, we all do the same thing. We're all organizers in our own right, but everyone has their own niche. And there's just so much to learn from so many people that it took off. Like I said, we're on our third one. It's just, and we purposely make it very small. Like, we're not trying to do 300 people.
I was just going to ask
There's
how many
only
people.
about 50 people.
Oh, that's a great group. Though.
Yes,
that's
it's
a
like
good
a
amount
nice,
of people.
intimate. I mean, everyone gets to meet each other at one
Yes.
point. We do it. The last 2 years, we've done them in beachside mansions. This year, we are going to try like a nice, cute little boutique hotel in Charlotte, just logistically to try and
You
not
mean
Charlotte,
Charleston? I know it's similar sounding.
yes.
I knew you were going with it.
So we're really excited, but it definitely has kind of caught fire. And I went to another organizing retreat in September, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you're Meghan from Order & Co. from the
They knew you.
Organizers Collective," and I was like, "I am." I was like, "Thanks so
Wow.
much." I mean, that was so exciting, and I mean, everyone's because a lot of girls who were at ours was at this retreat as well, and they were just like, it's just quite the experience. So it's very exciting to hear when people talk so fondly of something you really put your heart and soul into, because it is a lot of work.
I mean, that's just so amazing. So there's a couple of takeaways I took from there. Number one, which you've talked about mindset, and you definitely have an abundance mindset. The minute you talk about your competitors not being competitors means that you feel there's enough business for everyone.
Absolutely.
And that's a really, really hard thing when you're a 1099er, right?
Yeah.
You're competing with all these people all the time. And, some of them might interview both of you.
Right.
And so that's really hard, because that's super big in my business, whether you're selling real estate or trying to grow a brokerage, that there's a lot of different brokerages out there and a lot of different realtors people can work with. And you have to go in there not looking at the money side of it,
Right.
and looking how you can provide value. And the only way you can do that is to feel there's an abundant amount of opportunity and work for everybody.
Absolutely.
And
And I know that's been hard lately in the real estate world.
Yeah, real estate's hard right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, that's very hard, because it is really competitive. And I'm assuming your business is competitive as well.
It is. Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of different people that might do it cheaper. And cheaper isn't always better.
Correct.
Sometimes it might be, but not always. And so
Right.
that's a very hard thing to
And the way I look
tell
at that
people.
is, if somebody does want to go with someone less, and I'm very upfront with it, like, we are definitely on that higher range of organizers. But your end product is going to be next level, right?
Sure.
And some people want that. Some people want that gorgeous. I mean, we just did a home in a pantry, and she's like, "I just want to go walk in there and say, this is the most beautiful part of my home." Like, she just wants it to be beautiful. Other people don't care. They just want to make sure there's a functional system, right? And there's definitely less expensive people to go do that. But if you want me to create this gorgeous space that's also organized with like the most perfect labels, I'm your girl. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But if you want everything and just mismatched baskets, because we shouldn't be getting mismatched baskets,
We're
man.
going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So since you brought it up, so stay tuned for part 2 of this Elevate with Us podcast.